Okay, so we got third string, 10, 9, 7. 10, 9, 7 on the D string also there. So we got 10, 8 on the A. Then we're going to start on the D string, go 10, 9, 7, 10, 8, 7, 10, 8. So 2, 3, 4. Okay, so our new riff is, that's a big F note, first fret, E string, 1, 1, 3 on that C note, and then B, A, G, 2, O, 3 there. So, and then we're gonna go 1, 1, 3, 2, open on the D string, 2 to 3 on the A, hammer on, open G string. So we got. Then we're going to get into some chords here. We have part of an F chord, 2, 1, 1, from the G string going down. Kind of slide into the G chord here, 4, 3, 3. And that's a C chord. We have 9, 8, 8 down here. So it's. Now here we're going to have D shapes. This is a G chord and an F chord. So that's 7th fret, little D shape, just those 3 strings. And then 5th fret. So we have. That's the first half of this. Now the second half's going to go. So that's F, G, G, F, 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 and then C, G. So. Okay, we're going to do that whole thing again. We're going to go. Okay, so that sets up our verse. Our verse is going to go. So 1, 1, 3, 2, 0, 3, and then 1, 1, 3, 3, 2, 0, 3, 0, 2. So we have a, then another C note here, 2, O on the D, C, D, E. So the verse again is. Okay, then the third line of this, third measure of this verse. Okay, so the third measure there started like the first one. Then this one's gonna go. Okay, that was the 1, 1, 3, 2, open on the D. B to C over here in the A string. To that G note. Now the next line is. So that one had like an extra 3 in it there. This one has 1, 1, 3, 3, 2, 0, 2, 3, 0. Then we have 2 more lines here. So this one has extra notes there a little bit. 2, 0, 3, 0, 2. Then we get into a bridge. So let's go over everything we did so far. We got beginning. Okay, now our bridge is going to be 2, open 2, starting on the A string here. So you can hit that chord, 202, 2 times. Then we have open on the bottom, then 3, then 2. And the first one is kind of staccato on these. We're going to take our bass from the 2 to the 1 on the A string. So we have 1, open, and 2. Same high notes thing. And then we're going to have 3, 3, 5 over here starting on the A string. And on the bottom we have 3, 6, and 5. So it's. Then we're going to switch to this. So C power chord, 3, 5, 5. And then I'm going to jump these fingers down to get the 3, 5, 5. So we got. Okay, so we went back to the 202 in those notes and the 102 in those notes. Then we're going to have. And this one changes kind of each time as the song goes along, so I'm not going to go too much into that. As a basic thing, it's kind of like D, 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 and then do that sus with the pinky in there. Kind of like that. Okay, and then we're going to have that. Okay, then we're into the chorus. We're going to have a D chord like this, 0, 2, 3. And we're fingering it like that, obviously, because we got to get up to that C sharp note 4 on the A string. So we got 0, 2, 3, part of a D chord, to the 4. So those are all in a row. And then we have the 2, 3 to an open A. So it's. And then B power chord, 2, 4, 4. A bass. To the 2, 2 of an A power chord, one more A there. So we got. Then we're going to go G chord. And this is a D chord with an F sharp bass. You can do that a variety of ways, but. And that's an A. 0, 2, 2, and 5. Different way of doing an A. Strum, 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 and then back to the D. So this one is E power chord, 0, 2, 2, and then the big notes of like that D with the F sharp bass, 2, 0, 0, A, 2 more hits on that, and then. Now this last time we're gonna go G, D with the F sharp bass, D chord. Okay, then we're back into what I'm calling part C. Okay, that was our part C. That's like a little section from the first verse. Okay, then we're gonna get into part B, which is the chords thing we did in the beginning. Okay, that sets up our next verse. So our next verse will be the same as it was before. We got. Back to our bridge. Okay, and it goes through that twice, then we're going to be in the chorus again. Then we have a new section I'm calling part D. We're going to go. And then he's into the solo. We are not going to mess with that solo. That is a burner. So we got a 4 to 5 on the A string. One more 5 down to the 7 on the D. 5, 4 on the D. And then the same thing over here, 2 to 3. 5, 3, 2. Then we go 3 to 5. 5, 8 on the D. 5, 8. 3 to 5 on the D. 7, 5, 8. And then our riff up here from the beginning. We only go that far, and then a little 7 to 8 on the B string gets that solo started. So the new part again was. Okay, then the solo is going to end with that riff. back into the bridge. A couple times of that, you got your chorus again. And then the last time of this is going to go G to D, and then we're into that D part again. And then at the end of the song, we're going to go, we're going to add that other one. And on a G. All right, Free Will by Rush. Low E note, it's going to hold for 4 bars, gets things going, gets the verse going. And then we have this first chord bit. So we have bum, 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 and then chord. That chord is the E major chord, 7-9-9-9, muting the bottom string. Now our next chord, this is going to be a D sus2. So this is 5-7-7 like a power chord, but then bar these other 5s. Because we really want that 2 note, that's the E note, on the 2nd string, 5th fret. So we got. Now here we have like an A chord, A power chord, but with 2 3s down here. So it's like an A7 sus4. So we got. That's a C sus2, just like this A was. So it's 3-5-5-3-3. And that 3 on the 2nd string is our 2 there. That's important. So one more time on this. We do it again for the vocal. And then we have this little descending thing. It's going to go C, B, A, C, B, A. We're going to do these chords on top. So it's like a G chord with the open 3-3. And we move to the B bass with that same top, but we're muting the D string. So we have 3 in the A, and then muting the D, and then open 3-3. And we're just moving the bass to the 2. And then we're going to go to this A7 sus. So open on the A string, but 2 on the D string, with still the open 3-3. So we have moving bass, and then this one actually moves its first finger up too. And we do that little riff twice. So let's look at what we have so far. So we do that twice, and then we're going to follow that with the. And then we go back to the chords with a little more strumming going on. So. Okay, so this one kind of walks down. 3-2 open, and then to a G with a 3 in the bass, F sharp in the bass, kind of muting that A string. Kind of go into an E note there. Okay, so that last part would be. Now instead of going to the C chord on this one, you go straight into the G, F sharp, E, and then we get into the riff. Okay, so let's take a look at that. So there's a couple ways you could do this. It goes really fast, so you could cut out a couple of these notes. So instead of going dum 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 dum, like 1 2 3 1 2 3, you could go 1 and not hit the 2. Okay, so that's kind of the easier way. So the full way would be open E and then 2 on the D string to 4 on the G string. And then you go to the F sharp bass and you bar it and you still hit the same 2 4s. We're going to go to that G bass then and still hit those same 2 4s. So we got O 2 4 2 2 4, open on the big one, 3 2 4, open on the A. So we got go back to that A note and then we'd have a 2 4 and then 3 2 4. O 2. So we have a B note there with the 2 4. And then open A 2 4 to that 3. So now the more simple way would be not to do all 3 of those first notes. You kind of alternate where you do 3 notes and where you don't do 3 notes. It'd be like, so I would wait a second and hit that 4 there without that 2. And then do those 3 notes and then don't do those 3. So see how you alternate? And you wouldn't have any 3 note things on the way out. So that would be the simple way. Whereas the more fancy way where you have to pick a little bit faster, so the only one you don't do like a 3 note thing is the, because it doesn't have a 3rd note to kind of go to, that 2 right there on the D string. And at the end of that, so we hit that A power chord into the B power chord, and then B again. Then we're going to go A power chord, G power chord, B, little strumming, and then A to the G, A, big E, and the E major chord there. Okay, then at that point, when we get back to that, then we're going to have 4 bars, and he starts singing again. Then we have this high kind of keyboard synthesizer riff. So that's going to be 14 on the G string to 16 on the D, and then 13 and 14, and then 11 and 12. Then the second time kind of holds that first note longer, so it's, so that one switches to 12th fret on the D and 14th on the A. So okay, then after a few times of that, the guitar is going to go. So that's like an E power chord, O 2 2, O 2 4 4 to an F sharp power chord. So first we have. Okay, so those, they do that over each other the next 4 times there. Then we're gonna have. So we have the guitar coming in 7 to 9 D to A strings, 6 7 4 5. So and then 7 9 6 7 5 on the A to 7 on the B. So it's the same type of thing that was happening in the other riff. Now that time, so it does it twice. The second one has a lower thing. Do it again. Now when you go that one down, you take it all the way down to the low E. Then we're going to start the solo. 1 4 and 7 on the G, and then So this is 9 and 7 on the B. 10, 9, hammer on pull off, 3 to 5. So we got, holds that E for a little bit before it gets started. And then we go. So that's 10, 9, 10, and 12. Then you go big 5, 7, and then 5 on the A. So altogether we got. So this has a little half step bend on that 5. 3 to 2 pull off. Then you have something like a. So this is something to do with this little scale here. Kind of goes to that 2 note. He's got real pinch harmonics. Which you can end with 3, 3, 2, 4, 2, 3, 5. Then you're up here in the 16 and 19 on the G string. So some kind of little pull off. He does some little tricks up there, but that's the notes you're dealing with. 16 and 19. Then you have the 16, 19 in back. 17 to 18. Some kind of little pull off thing. And then you go back to that 17 to 18 to wrap that off. And then you go. So you got 19 on the D, and then 16 and 19 on the G. Bend that one out, and then you got 17 down here on the B. You got a couple 17s. You go up to the 21 and give it a little half step bend. And you got, so that's 16, 17, 19. Kind of a back and forth thing there a few times. Then you're bending that 19. And then we come back. So that's our same riff, 7 to 9, 6, 7, 4, 5, and then to the lower thing, 5, 7, and then 4, 5, 5, and then we got 5, 7, 5, 7. Back into our rhythm. Go into the C. Then we got a verse coming in. Then we got that CBA twice. Then we got the chords. More choppy. And then we got. So we got the C, B, A, G, F sharp, E. Then we got our big riff. So that riff is going to go like 4 times again, and then we're going to have, so 2 A's, so it's going to be. So A, B, real strong, and then the B starts out that chorus, and then the A to G, back to B, A, G, back to A, E to the E major. And then there's 5 bars that time because he throws in some extra cool lyrics. And then we're going to go into a. So that's our same thing. The E power chord to the F sharp power chord. Now the high synthesizer riff starts coming back. So it's like. Then the next one goes. And then instead of just going down to that lower E note, it's going to go pull off 13 to 11 to that 9. And then the last one's gonna go here to the octave. So that's 17 to 19 on the second string, 16, 17, 14, 15, 17. So we got. And that's how we fade out. All right, this is going to be part 1 of Red Barchetta by Rush. I just started reading Geddy Lee's book, My Effin' Life, and I'm so glad to see him and Alex back playing again, getting ready to, and it looks like they got a fantastic drummer. So this is basically about half of Red Barchetta. We're going to get onto it. We got these harmonics. If you don't know about harmonics, that's when you put your finger right above a fret. In this case, I'm on the G string on the 12th fret. You don't play it in between frets like you do a normal note. You just set your finger on top of the string. You don't press down at all. You just set your finger against that string. That makes a harmonic. I would say this is one of the greatest harmonic riffs in rock and roll history. So let's check this out. We got. Okay, so we have 12th fret of the G string. And then we have 7 on the A string and 7 on the D string. And then 12 on the A string. So it's. Then the second time, the timing is a little different. So it's like we let this one ring a little longer, and then we have to do these 2 7s extra fast to make it all happen. So we got. 2, 3, 4. So it's really helpful to have your fingers straight up and parallel with these frets. So when you get over here, you're gonna be able to get all those notes on the right on the fret. Now it's a bit more difficult to get one on a 9. 9 on the A string, and then 5, 5 on the D to G string, and then to the A string 5th. So 9, 5, 5, 5. Now that second time it does the same timing the other one had. Bum, bum, bum. But we're gonna hit the 9th fret of the D string. So it's. Okay, and that riff goes 4 times. So let's maybe try that whole thing. We got 2, 3, 4. We'll do 5 of these. Third one. Fourth one. Fifth one. Switch. Two more sets. Okay, then we're into the verse. The verse is going to be like an A chord. We're going to go. It's actually an A sus because we have that 3 on the second string. So open on the A, O, 2, 2, 3, and then 2 on the second string to the 4th and 3rd strings after that. So it's. Those last 3 notes were 2nd string, 4th string, 3rd string. Then we're going to follow that with 2nd string, 3rd string, 4th, back to that 3. So we got. Then we're going to go 2, 2, 2nd to 3rd strings. So. Okay, so that's a main pattern for us. We're going to change bass notes with that, but that's going to be a repeating pattern. So once again, we got. Now we're going to add the F sharp bass on the big string. So we're going to jump over that A string to make it like E string to D string, G and B. So we have the same fingerings and picking of strings as we did on the A chord. Then we're going to bring in the G bass. Then we're going to come up here to a D sus. This is going to be like 5 on the A, 5, 7, 7, and 5. We're going to go. So up and down those 4 strings there. Then we have this riff. We're going to go to the 6 over here on the G string, 6 with 7 on the D. Hammer in the pinky, so 6, 7, 6, hammer. Down to that 5 on the second string, back to the 7 and the 7. So it's. And then we're back to the A. F sharp bass. G bass. Up to that D chord. Once again, that was 5, 7, 7, 5, 7, 7. And then we bring in the 6 on the G string. Hammer with the pinky. And then we'll be back to the whole thing one more time. Now this time we'll have a different ending. We got to get into this. So that was a 3 and 2 on the A string, C to B. We go. Then we're on an F power chord, 1 and 3 there. And we want to hit only the bottom 2 ones down here, kind of like a F major chord. So you could kind of play it safe and kind of have that 2 in there on the 3rd string, because you don't want to hear the minor chord right there. But if you can just get those 2 ones down there on the bottom, that's kind of best. So we go to the E string there at that point. So F chord, E, F, and the E is just kind of a note by itself, the bass note. We have an F to G kind of thing up in there after that. So we got. Then we get into a. So we're bending a little bit on that G on the big string. G to the A power chord. G, D, G. So it's a certain little rhythm to it. Check out the tab on this. And if you've heard the song, you definitely kind of know how it goes. But listen to it a lot, you know, it helps out. And then we come up here to this like D shape on the 7th fret. Slide it up to the 9, so it's 7, 8, 7 up to 9, 10, 9. Put that little sus in there, that pinky on the 10th fret in the bottom. Okay, then we have one more part we're going to cover on this one, and then we're going to get into the rest on the next lesson. So we got. So this is like 3, 3, 2, 1, part of an F chord. Then we'll go open on the G string, and then we'll switch to a C chord. So it's. So that's F. F with a G in the middle of it. It's like a F9, so we got F, F to F9, and then C. 3 times. Then we're going to go with this F down here. F to G there, and then. Now this last one's going to go F, F to that F9. Okay, so we do the harmonic thing from the beginning of the song twice. And right where that last note on that 12th fret, that kind of A harmonic would be, is when you come into the picking pattern for the new verse. All right, this is lesson part 2 for Red Barchetta by Rush. I'm going to quickly go over the stuff we did in the first lesson, and then we're going to get on to the new stuff. So we had that harmonic thing in the intro. And that was the 12th fret of the G, 7 and 7 on the A to D, and then 12 on the A. And it's straight up the first time, and then the 7s are faster the second time. Okay, and that goes 5 times. Let me switch to this other one. So that was 9 on the A string, 5, 5 on the D and G, to 5 on the A. So it's 9, 5, 5 to 9 on the D string here. So, and we do that 4 times, and then we're into the verse. And I have a slight change on this verse thing. So that's how I had it yesterday. I'm going to change that a little bit and make it go. I think it does that same picking part twice. And it could change, he could kind of adapt a little bit as it goes, but we're gonna go 0, 2, 2, 3, and then 2, 2, 2, and then down, 3, but then we're gonna go 2, 2, 2 again. So look out for that. This is gonna be in the new version. So we got. Okay, and then we're gonna have this. Now someone brought it to my attention that it sounds like the second time when the vocal's going and it sounds like it's just guitar, it sounds like he might do the A bass on that one. Okay, so watch out for that one. Usually it's the D. And the tab to this is on that first tab and a little bit on the second tab as well, second lesson tab. So then the second time through though, you're gonna go. Okay, and I think that's the only time. So thanks for bringing that to my attention. It does sound like it is an A bass on that second time through the song when you get to that, what's normally a D sus chord. Okay, and then this little riff took us into that part 3, 2, and then we had the F power chord. And you're trying to just hit those 2s down here, but I'll make it an F shape. In case I hit an extra one, it'd be a 2. You don't want it to be a minor, so 3, 2, and then F power chord. So the top 2 1s there, and the E bass going back with those. So. And then there's another thing I noticed at the end. I want to get the timing straight at the end of this. It's 1 and 2, 3, 4 and back to that 3, 2. Now the second time it's going to go 1 and 3. We're going to have that into that thing. So it's 1 and 3, 4. And this part is the. Okay, so we went over this part, but let's take a look again. We got the A and the D power chords with that 3 bending on the G note up here. So we got. And that's that G chord up here, 7, 8, 7. To the A chord, get that sus and back in there, and you do that riff about 3 times. Now if you've done that a few times, we get this chord thing. So it's F, and then we have a G in there, open G, makes it an F9. So F, F9 to C. We do that 3 times. Then we go 1 and 2, 3, and then F to G there. Then we go. And then the last one goes F, F9 to C. And then we're right into the harmonics. Okay, so that ends with. Back into a verse. So we've done all that. So it's going to end with. Now we have an E power chord we're going to hold for 2 bars. Then we have this new thing where we're pedaling the D note a lot. So we have that chord up here, 7/8/7. Okay, so we have the chord, and we're going to keep pedaling on the D. So we have the chord. Each time you hit the chord, you're also hitting the D as well. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's a. And then it starts over again. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, then the verse starts. So this is gonna be a little different. It's gonna go chord 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that was double hits on this chord. Okay, so. The last time. So bum, 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 bum to the sus, back to the regular D shape, and then we're gonna have B flat and F power chords. Okay, so bum, 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 bum twice. Now the same thing on the 4th fret. Back. Could kind of put in that extra note for the major there. And they could be major chords, I suppose. Seventh fret. 10th. Now this last one sets up the solo. So that was. It's like 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. Okay, so 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and. So you had the G to the D and back to the G. Okay, then we'll get into the solo. We pause a little bit. So it's 9, 7, 5, 7, 5, 6, 4, 7, 4, open. A couple more open, so rest. And then we're gonna go. So 2, 4, 5 on the A, 2, 4 on the D. 1, 2, 4 on the G string. 2, 3, 2, 3. Okay, so we got. So we have 2, 3, 2, 3, and then 5, 3, 5. Bend, kind of up and down. So we got. So we got a 5, 3, 5. I get in some artificial pinch harmonics in here. 2 to 5 down here. Try to get a little pinch on that one. You got a half step, kind of up and down. Hammer on pull off here. 3 open on the little one. 3, 2. So we kind of have an up and down on this a couple times. Then we're going to slide into this A here. So slide into the 7, and then 6 and 5. And another 5. Do it again up there. 5 to 7 kind of. Come down to the 6 and then. So 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 6, 6 on the G. 7, 6, 7. So let's try it. We got. Okay, then it's not too hard here. We're kind of going into a slide from 7 to 9 on the D, 7 to 10 there on the B string. And then you can kind of do a double hammer. Do that a couple times, and then you can kind of do that same roll up here on the G string, 9 to 11, to the 10, 10. So it's 9, 10, 11. And then we pick up that 11, 10, 10 after that. And then 11 to 12 in the G, to the little 12, 12 again here, slide to the 14, little 14. So kind of slow, we got. Then the solo is followed up by this riff here. Okay, 3 times of that, so it was A to the G, D, G, A, G, D, D. So 2 of those at the end, and it just repeats like that. So start over. Last time. Okay, and right when that last chord hits, when he's doing it live, he probably cuts out and doesn't quite do that because you're right back in the picking for the verse on the A. Okay, and it's all going through there. We got. We got all that kind of stuff. We got. You got the F thing. The last time you have the, and you got the harmonics again. You're gonna do that one 6 times here at the end, and then we're gonna switch to the other part. And this is Geddy's bass solo up in there. We do that 4 times on that second part there. Now the outro is. Okay, so it's open on the G, 2 on the D, 2 on the G to the open A. So, and then we're gonna hammer open to 4 in the A string, open D, couple G's to the 4 F sharp note there. Okay, and it fades out with that. This is going to be a lesson on BROON'S BANE by Rush by Alex Lifeson on guitar. This is from the live album Exit Stage Left. So I'm going to play you the first part and then I'll show you how to play it. So our first thing is kind of a G minor chord here. We're gonna have the basic pattern is, so that's skipping the A string and kind of jumping that B string too. So strings 6, 4, 3, and 1, and then come back to the second string. And then an A bass to move us to the B flat for the next one. Okay, and then, but the first time we're gonna have this bass note, this pinky down here in the second string with that first bass note, and it only happens that first time. Now here, once we go to that B flat on the 5th string, we go up the strings in the same way. It'll go 5, 4, 3, 1, 2, as far as string numbers. And then we're gonna have that B flat bass at the end of that, moving into an F sharp bass with a D sus2. It's got an open on the bottom down there. And then we go to an A bass on that one. So all together we have to the B flat to F sharp, and that has a D bass at the end, and that's like a D sus2 with an A bass on it. So and then A bass to the beginning, and only the first time does it have that high note, so we won't have that high note right here. Now we're going A major, and we're doing the 2nd string and 5th string, and then we're going. So that was 4th, 3rd, 1st, 2nd, 3rd. So, and then just go to an E bass and do those 4 notes. And we're going to end with an A bass to go back to the beginning. So this new part on A was, and then A bass to the beginning. Now this time we're going to A, but we're going, and then B flat 7. So that's 1, 3, 1, 3, 1. And then hitting an A chord, you can kind of rake it, classical style. So that last part, A to B flat 7. A. All right, let's look at all that again. Top. And then A, B flat 7, A. Okay, so that part's really important because that is kind of the main theme and it's going to come back again. So here's like our next part. This is the D minor chord, open on the D, 7, 6, and 5. We're going to go. You can kind of rake that a little. Okay, so that went chord, and then 6, 5, 6, and then the D bass note. And then we're gonna go to the A bass note and go. So that was D, A. And then we got a quick D before we move here. Then we got that quick D before we go to here. This is going to be like an A minor chord, 7, 5, 5, but it's going to have an 8 on the bottom with the pinky. We're going to go. So we hit the outside ones, the bass and the high note, and then we go strings 3, 2, and then the highest one. Then we're going to switch to this chord, 6 on the D with 7 on the little E. And then regular A minor. And that also started with high note, low note, and then moves up the strings 3, 2, 1. To an A bass. So let's look at this again. Okay, let me play a little bit of the next part. Okay, so that's going to be 3 and 5 at the same time here. 3 on the 5th string, 5 on the E string, and we're going to have we're going to put our 5 in here because we're coming to it soon. So this chord would be kind of like 3, 5, 3, 4, 5. We're gonna hit the outside ones there, and then we're gonna go. So that was 3rd string, 2nd, 1st, 2nd, and then 4th. And then we're gonna switch to this G minor chord, 5, 3, 3, 3. Same type of strumming. And then here we're gonna have a B minor chord. We're gonna hit the 5th string and 1st string. So that was those two, and then 4th, 3rd, 1st, and 2nd. We're gonna hit that bass note at the end. Then we're gonna jump this bass note up. So when we hit the big bass note, we skip the A string and go 4, 3, 1, 2. So let's go from this new part, this chord here. And then B flat 7 again. So what we did there was the B flat on the 5th string, and 2nd string. And then 4th, 3rd, 1st, 2nd, and then the bass note of that B flat to the big F. And we skip the A string, went strings 6, 4, 3, 1, and then we hit these 2nd and 5th again. So we had. Okay, so let's look at all of that new part. And then we're on an A major with our 1st finger. So we just kind of start on the 5th and 2nd. Go up and down a little bit. A bass to this 3 in the bass. 3 in the bass to this 2. And that's going up, skipping the A string. And on the way back, you go to the D string before you move to the new measure. And we're gonna have a 1 here in the bass. Same type of strumming. Back to the A. First time. It's going to go right down the strings. Now the second time. We're going to go to the big string to go back to the beginning. So it ends up being like. A again, E bass, now here we have a new thing. We're going to hold the A and then 3 times on that B flat 7. So once again that was A, B flat 7, A. And then we have our new part again. It's going to have some slight changes. Here's the change. We got this B flat. We're going. So that's kind of more up the thing than it was before. Bass note on the F sharp. So once again, those. Then we have our B flat 7 again. So that was gonna be slightly different. Kind of starts the same, going up, but with the bass one on this one. Keeps the same kind of thing going there. And now we're gonna have a new thing on the A. So that was the chord, and then strings 3, 2, 3. And then we're gonna bring this pinky down here on this 5th fret of the 2nd string and kind of rake this. We got a little melody right there. 5, 3, 2, 3, 5. And then we have an A bass here. So let's look at this new thing from the new B minor thing. Flat 7, A bass. Now we're moving into this B flat 7 again. And at the end we can have that little chord there. So we got our A, G, so this time we have a little hammer-on pull-off. G, F sharp, and then on this F bass one with the D, so that's like D with the F bass. You can kind of slowly rake up those and kind of end on that 3 on the second string. All right, so let's review a little bit. So that was our whole first part, our second part. That's when we hold that. Then we got our new part.